So, you have a Pinterest account and you're worried about getting banned? Here is everything you need to know. First of all, why you should listen to me. I'm Nick. Hi. I'm founder of the BlogToPin tool. It's Pinterest automation tool, and I basically have hundreds and hundreds of people scheduling pins from me each day. I have thousands of pins scheduled each day, almost like 1 mil. I think number here is not updated. It's almost 1 million pins overall uploaded to Pinterest through BlogToPin. So I have a lot of data, which is the most important part. I have a lot of data, and I can give you much more deeper insights on what's going on than probably a lot of people here on YouTube. Basically, because even if you run like an agency, you can all maybe test like 20 accounts or 30 accounts or 50 accounts. And even in this case, you will be limited to your strategy. So what's going on when you do your strategy? But for me, I have a lot of different diverse people in diverse niches, in niches that work good on Pinterest and in niches that don't really work good, but manage to thrive. So I have a lot of data to share with you, and let's get to it. First of all, you need to understand, is it a ban? Is it a shadow ban? What is it? So let's go through the shadow ban first. So it almost always in your analytics looks like fall off the cliff. So you've been having like a lot of impressions, a lot of clicks, and then the next day you have none, or you have like 100 impressions or something like this. So if you've been having something like you've been having this, and then you're slowly losing impressions, then it's not a shadow ban. It's maybe you need to revisit your keywords, understand maybe something you did doesn't work anymore. Maybe your keywords are not as popular right now, or maybe Pinterest just changed the algo, and previously on all your keywords there were only image pins and you were pinning image pins, but now there are only collage pins and you're pinning only image pins, so you're not gonna be there anymore. So if you have a slowly steady decrease in number of impressions and clicks, it's not a shadow ban, and you can easily improve it just by changing your strategy. Usually it's not, it looks something like this. It just fall off the cliff, and it takes a lot of time to recover. It doesn't, in my understanding, happen because of some bad pins. I've seen cases where people removed some underperforming pins using BlogToPin, for instance. In BlogToPin, you have also a possibility to remove underperforming pins, and they started going better. It could help, but I haven't seen that like if you do this, then your shadow ban will be lifted. I've seen it happening for a few people, but not for like hundreds of people. It's important to understand. Shadow ban usually happens during big algorithm updates. So for instance, during Pinterest August update, I had a separate video on that. You can also take a look here on YouTube channel. Or right now in February, we had also a big algo update. So during these big times, there are shadow bans. And usually what Pinterest also does is in the beginning of each month, there are also small shuffles, which happens to like maybe 0.1% of all Pinterest accounts. So community usually doesn't notice this, but me, because I have a lot of accounts pinning through BlogToPin, I noticed that. If you ask Pinterest directly through their support, they will probably tell you that your account is not shadow banned. It will happen in 99% of cases, so it's probably not worth trying, but hey, you can try if you have a lot of time. It happens more to new accounts. So for instance, if your account is 5 years old, chances are almost zero you'd be shadow banned. I've almost never seen that. It happens across almost all niches, so it's not that only like haircuts or like recipes are affected, but I've seen that it might affect more AI accounts. But it's also important to understand that overall there are more and more AI accounts starting, and most of them are new. So if 50% of new accounts are getting shadow banned, that means like a lot of AI accounts are also getting shadow banned. And it's not the same as the sandbox period. So it only like shadow ban happens only if you had like some kind of a sustainable traffic. You've been going like this, and then there is fall off the cliff and you just never recover, or almost never recover. If it was something like you had like no impressions, then you had big spike, then on the next day you're back to no impressions, then again, and then there is another big spike, and then no impressions. That's okay. That's Pinterest testing you. That's what's been happening last like maybe half a year, and you should be ready for that. And it's important that during these like big spikes, you monitor what's going on. What are your like save rates? What are your outbound click rates? And how exactly your account is doing, because if during the spikes you're doing good, then you'd eventually see a big spike and you'd grow from here. Important to understand it. So if you see like some big spikes and drops and your account is less than 3 months old, don't worry about that. Just keep going, but just take a look at the numbers you have. Next, how to recover from shadow ban. First of all, there is no quick recovery. I don't believe in that. And everyone who tells you do this and you instantly recover in 2 weeks, he's just probably lying. There are things which can help you, but it's not guaranteed. If you have a lot of time and a lot of energy, I'd suggest you starting with another account, because there are just bigger chances you'd succeed. I'm being honest here. So what's the recovery strategy? First of all, you need to understand that if you're shadow banned, it means you're getting basically no impressions. And it means you probably shouldn't optimize for outbound clicks. What it means, you should probably like pin some pure images which is focused to get like impressions, get saves, so that Pinterest can trust you more. And as it lifts the shadow ban, then you can keep creating pins focused more on outbound clicks. So outbound clicks is usually, it's usually like the pin. I don't know, you have like a few images there and you have some text also written there, and you just tell, hey, click to read more. But if you are shadow banned, you should probably optimize for just producing good high quality images. That person wants to save them. It's inspiring for them. He wants to save them, and he'd probably save it and improve your rankings on Pinterest. You might want to unclaim your website temporarily. I've seen it help some people. You might want to pin more unique, pure images, high quality. As I've said, you get more engagement, more saves, and Pinterest overall trusts you more. And lastly, you probably want to create pins with no outbound URL. As I said, if you have no impressions and Pinterest shadow banned you, it probably means you won't have any clicks anyway. And at this point, you probably want to convince Pinterest you're a legitimate user and you want to bring value to the platform. That's why you pin pins which have no outbound URL. And yeah, by the way, you can do it in one click within BlogToPin. So I will just promote my platform from time to time, because I truly believe it's the best for Pinterest. So yeah, here is everything you need to know probably about shadow ban. Then we need to understand that what about like account bans? And there are different cases. So first of all, if there is a single account suspension, so you've been like a legitimate Pinterest user, you've had like a single Pinterest account and then it got banned. If it's a single account, it's a bit easier. From my perspective, if you have like a single Pinterest account, Pinterest almost never bans them unless you're doing some crazy stuff. Of course, in like 2025, Pinterest has been getting a bit more cautious regarding spams, regarding a lot of AI images and AI spam. And doing BlogToPin, we try to like fight it more and create more unique and more good content for Pinterest. But if you're just spamming Pinterest, then there is a chance they will ban you. So if you were not doing anything crazy, try appealing the suspension. You would probably get a bot response first time, but if you send 5, 10, 15 appeals, you can get in touch with human, and I'd say there is like maybe 40% chances you'd get the account back. As I said, some niches are more prone to issues than the others. For instance, if you have AI in the recipe blog or recipes niche, a lot of people who are like legitimate recipe producers who are like staying in the kitchen preparing those recipes, they're pissed off by AI makers, and they're just mass reporting AI Pinterest accounts. So maybe you've been hit by that and you can get blocked because of that. And there is like, if it's the reason you've been blocked, I'm sorry, but the chances you'd be unblocked are very low. You can create a new account to the same domain and start reviving the account. If you've been banned like your account, you can still pin to the same domain, and chances are very good you'll start growing again. I've seen examples of that. But you need to understand like what are the safety rules here. I'd also talk about them later on, so you understand what you need to do to not get banned. So multiple account suspensions is if, I don't know, you had like 5 accounts, 10 accounts, 20 accounts, 100 accounts, and they've all been banned at the same time. It's probably because you've been doing something crazy, and it's probably because you've been spamming the platform. Maybe you've been pinning like 50, 100 pins a day. In this case, Pinterest, if Pinterest sees that you are like pinning from the same IP to 10 different domains, to 10 different accounts, Pinterest might not like it. And if they understand that one of your account is spamming, they can get everyone blocked, especially if they are newer accounts. This kind of suspension is super hard to get rid of. I've seen 2 kind of bans like this, and they have not been lifted. So Pinterest probably understood you're making money off the platforms, and I just suggest you not doing that, because it's against like Pinterest spam policy. If you read it carefully, they say that if you create Pinterest accounts just to earn money, it's not good for them. But if you still want to do it, you probably want to use separate proxies, separate VPNs, and anti-detect browsers, etc., so that Pinterest can't understand that these are yours accounts. If you're using BlogToPin, you can just like log into BlogToPin through that different proxies only once, and then you can manage all of them from one PC, and Pinterest will never know. Lastly, the most important is the domain ban. There are also a few different situations, and I'm sure you haven't heard about some of them. So there is like a domain suspension when you have like a new domain and it has some interesting top level domain extensions. So .info, .fun, or .shop, they can be banned by default because Pinterest saw earlier that there are a lot of spam going through those domains, and they can prevent you from pinning them from the start. But if you reach out to the support and say, hey, I'm a legitimate user, I just bought stupid domain, let me pin, they'd allow you to pin. But I'd suggest just securing a .com domain. It'd be more legitimate to Pinterest, and you'd be just in a better standing with them. I hope it's clear. Another one is popular abuse domain ban. So basically almost every link shortener is being abused in Pinterest, so I don't suggest using that. You should use it only if you absolutely need to. Unless you absolutely need to, I suggest you not use it. There is also what I've seen is the Amazon. So if you started a brand new account and started posting Amazon links on the same day, especially if you're doing it via third-party provider like BlogToPin, for instance, and you're sending affiliate links, Pinterest might not like it. And to be honest, like, it's tricky and it might be against their terms of use. So I just not playing with Amazon links in the pins and just creating content around them, creating blog posts, sending people to blog posts, and then inside the blog posts you can monetize them via ads, you can monetize them via affiliate, etc. So just be careful with that. Regarding the full domain ban, you probably must have done something very bad, because it's the hardest restriction I've seen. Haven't seen it a lot of times. I have seen domain ban being reversed and lifted, but chances are extremely low. The worst part about domain ban is that your Pinterest account, it remains active and it remains not banned. But when people want to follow the link on your pin, they see an alert saying that, hey, this domain is banned. It might lead to spam activity. We don't allow you to go there. So you can try appealing to Pinterest. As I've said, first few times you most definitely see bot response, but maybe 5-10 appeals to get to a real person and prove them that this is not a spammy account. It can happen if you pin like 100 pins, 200 pins from different accounts, all to the same domain. It can be risky and Pinterest can catch you in the end. It's most probably you have something wrong with your domain itself, with your website, with your content. Maybe you pin just from a lot of different accounts to the same domain, and they see like, hey, 1 week ago there was no one pinning to that domain, but right now there are 20 accounts doing 20 pins per day to that domain. Is just weird. I'd probably block it. So even if you want to pin from the same account, from multiple accounts to the same domain, first of all, I'd advise you not to do it. It can get risky and it can get you banned. But if you want to do it, just start slower. And there is a chance you revert it, but chances are very, very low. And also be careful about content you post, that it's not spammy, it's not one-click AI generated, because Pinterest would anyway at some point just delete that and ban you. And now the most important part, how we can prevent all of that from happening. It's of course hard to tell for sure, because Pinterest never tells you why you get banned. When you get banned, you just receive an email saying that, hey, maybe you broke some policies from spam policy, but there are a few things I in BlogToPin as the founder do to keep your account extra safe. Our bans percentage is quite small. I'd say it maybe less than 1%. Despite some people try to abuse the system heavily, and it happens, I believe, to almost every scheduler. Then whenever there is a scheduler people can use, different malicious actors, they try to use it in different weird ways to pin a lot of spammy content, but we in BlogToPin, we try to fight it. And here are a few ways you probably need to do to keep your Pinterest account anti-fragile and prepared for 2025, 2026, 2027, etc. If you want to have a steady long-term business, you probably need to do it. So first of all, you probably need to space your roles out by at least 7 days. If you want to, you can do more, you can do less, but you need to show Pinterest you are not spamming. You need to probably as well, it's very important, maybe start slow. So for instance, you start with 2 pins per day, then 5 pins per day, then 7 pins per day, then 12 pins per day. But if you go from 0, you go instantly to 35, it just looks weird for Pinterest. So start smaller, start slower, and then gradually increase. What also we do in BlogToPin is we use as much unique templates, as much unique images, as much unique color stacks, etc. as possible. We don't do any repins, and it is also important that you prioritize unique content. Pinterest, you can look at all their spam policies, and they say not explicitly, implicitly, but they say that, hey, if you're posting too much of the same repetitive content, we'll probably ban you. We also try to use as many unique images as possible. It is also important because if you just repeat the same image, especially if it's stock image over and over, it just looks different. It just looks risky, and Pinterest might understand, hey, you've been pinning the same URL with the same title, with the same description for 50 pins in a row. It just looks weird. I'm not gonna like it. And I'm not gonna lie, if you go spammy, if you go crazy spammy, it can work super well. So if you, for instance, go 100 pins per day, and you create 10 accounts doing 100 pins per day for 3 months, I'd be honest, by month 3, you probably have at least 3 accounts banned. But those another 7, they give you a lot of data. You'd understand what works, what doesn't work, how it should work. You'd understand what you need to do, what you don't need to do, and how you should optimize your content to get the most number of clicks. So it's very effective to get as as much data as possible, but even those 7 accounts which survive, it's just extremely risky, and they can be banned like basically any day. So I don't advise it. Don't pin all the pins at the same time. That's what BlogToPin does. Ideally, if you schedule the pins, you want to also like add like random offset to each day or something like this, because if you pin like, if you use like, I don't know, some third-party scheduler which is not BlogToPin, and you pin each day at 2 p.m., just think about it from like Pinterest perspective. If they can see that like for a year in a row, you've been pinning 335 days in a row at 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. and then 6 p.m. and then 8 p.m., it just looks weird. It doesn't take them a lot of energy to detect that you're automating and probably spamming. So in BlogToPin, we add like some random offset to each pin. So for instance, it's not like always 2 p.m., but sometimes it's 1:50, sometimes it's 2:03. And also recently, just I haven't added here. So recently, if you imagine you have like 10 pins per day, so on one day you would have like 9 pins per day, on another would have like 10, on another would have like 11, then again 11, then 9. So it looks just like, even if you like create Pinterest content and you want to, of course, speed up to automate stuff as much as possible, you just need to make sure you look as much human as possible. Of course, it all doesn't guarantee you won't get banned. You might have bad content, you might get mass reported, you might be pinning too much, or in the end, Pinterest just might be mistaken and they never admit it. So it's just a game you have to play. You have to understand that these are the risks, and you have to admit them. And that's actually the reason why I created BlogToPin, because if you pin all the pins to the same account, there is a chance that Pinterest might be mistaken, or you might be doing something wrong. And if you have all the pins pointing to the same account, you're just risking a lot. And BlogToPin just helps you automate a lot of stuff and get as much Pinterest account running as possible without, of course, spamming the platform. And here, in the end, if you watched it, I don't know, comments, I don't know, BlogToPin, and ask for a discount, I'd give it to you. But I shortly pitch you BlogToPin. So it's best Pinterest automation tool, in my humble opinion. You create beautiful Pinterest pins. You can see we have a lot of pins scheduled already. It can just like shuffle the content for you, create like unique pins, create like collages for you. These are like real collages. Optimize like the pins, already assign them to like unique boards, create unique titles, unique descriptions, unique scheduling time. Setup is pretty straightforward. It can get you like amazing results. And there are much more which BlogToPin offers. You can also check the analytics, understand what exactly works. You can understand that like, hey, this color palette, it brought me the most views and the most clicks, and I should focus on that and not on the like another color palette. And you can also, as we're talking about not getting your account banned, you can also optimize your existing pins and delete the ones which are underperforming. So your pricing is also extremely affordable. If you are thinking about making money off Pinterest, it's extremely affordable. So yeah, I wish you not getting your account banned. I wish you getting as much impressions and as much clicks as possible. And yeah, good luck.